Now we're going to consider the gospel. Matthew 2, 1 to 12. But everybody knows what this gospel is going to be about, right? Unless this is your first time at an Epiphany Mass, you know what it's about. It's about these magi, the ones we talked about when we started. They're coming from the east, okay? And coming to Jerusalem. Let's try to learn how to admire these guys, huh? Nowadays you can get yourself in a, it looks like a, what do they call these big things they're driving around nowadays? Forgot the name of them. They look like desert. They remind me of desert vehicles. But they're driving them on the streets. Great big things. What's the name of them? Whatever they are. It'll come halfway through this. It'll come. They didn't have them. They're riding on camels. Well, they're not that comfortable. You know, even you get up on one for a little while, you know, and you're going back and forth, and you got to get used to it. But they're the only way to get through the desert back in those days. So there's a big joke in Israel. I won't tell you which nationality, but they say, what's the difference between a camel and an X, meaning a person from a certain area? Well, a camel can work 7 days without drinking, and these people can drink 7 days without working. So they're going through that's a joke. I hope you realize that. So anyway, the text begins, Jesus being born, my goodness, where's my, here it is. When Jesus was born, okay, Jesus being born in Bethlehem of Judah in the days of Herod the king. Now we've already considered a lot of this when we did the opening reflections. Behold, Magi from the east appeared in Jerusalem, okay? And they're saying, where is the newborn king of the Jews? Now, you see, saying, where is this Tektis Vasilevs, this newborn king of the Jews? Well, boy, Herod's listening to this. I tell you, I mean, he killed members of his own family because he suspected. You know, and now there's a newborn king. He must have found that fellow real fast. And he doesn't know, except he knows a little bit about him. Behold, we saw his star in the east. That is, we were in the east and we saw his star, because it would be west of us. Okay? And we've come to pay homage to him. Some of these words, you see, proskinesis means to adore. But it can also mean to reverence. And so, in other words, we know they're going to adore. They think they're just going to pay homage. But if the Lord continues to enlighten them, they'll know who it is they're paying homage to. And so, we saw his star at his rising and have come, this translation, we have seen his star, Enti Anatoli. Huh? The problem with that word Anatoli in Greek is that it means the rising place, the east, where the sun rises. So it can either mean in the rising place, meaning the sun, or his star at its rising. This translation wants to take it the second way. It's okay. If you take it that way, then you don't know where they were. But that's all right. When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. They were probably troubled because they're saying, uh-oh, with this king is going to start looking for this newborn king, you know, none of us are safe. He could kill us all. Everybody in the palace, if they don't know. Okay. But the whole town was shaken. So gathering all the chief priests and scribes of the law, the theologians of the law, he asked from them where the Christ should be born, might be born. He's supposed to be a Jew. He built the temple. He doesn't even know that much about it. It's right there in Micah, right? I mean, everybody knows he's going to be born in Bethlehem. It's right there in the text. He doesn't. It shows you he's not up nights reading the Bible. Are you? You know, he doesn't know. Gathers these people together, asks from them where the Christ would be born, and they say to him, in Bethlehem, which is 8 miles south of where Herod is. Okay? As is written by the prophet, and you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, by no means are least in the among the princes of rulers of Judah, since from you, you see, will come a ruler who will pasture the people of his people Israel. I don't know how they translate that word. Yeah, shepherd, that's good. In other words, everybody knows that. I mean, in our culture with printed Bibles, people don't know much. They don't read them. In that culture, everybody's talking about it. It's all oral transmission. It would be a rare person. Go over there now. Well, the Jews are a lot of non-practicing. Anilodai. I'm not observant, but I'm physically a Jew. But they all know enough to know the tradition, because for the first 8 years of grammar school, they read the Hebrew Bible every day. They don't claim that they're trying to teach religion. They're just trying to give everybody a sense of their heritage. But for some, that's real faith. You know, for others, it's not. But it's this notion of knowing the heritage. That's why they can crack jokes that are based on knowing all that tradition. I think I told you this joke before, but it's one that reveals what I'm trying to say. Ben Gurion resigned as the first prime minister and went down to live in the Negev, the desert area, at a university which was exploring how to farm in the desert, how to raise animals in the desert. You see, sheep and goats and things. So the text goes, the Lord said to Moses, leave off shepherding sheep and go shepherd my people. The Lord said to David, leave off shepherding sheep and go shepherd my people. The Lord said to Ben Gurion, leave off shepherding my people and go shepherd sheep. And everybody would get the joke because it's in their culture. Okay. So now, but these experts are quoting the text. From you will come the leader who will shepherd my people Israel. Then it starts to get sinister. Then Herod, secretly calling the Magi, asked from them the time of the appearance of the star. And so they told him. We don't know what they told him. It doesn't take years to get from wherever they were there. But maybe they waited, they calculated, we don't know. Or maybe this 2 years is just Herod being super safe. Okay. So he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, go and search out diligently for the child. And when you found him, come and tell me, so that I too can go and worship him. What a lie. There is no way he's going to worship anybody. And if this child, for some reasons he doesn't get, is a future king, kill him. What's on Herod's mind? Self-preservation. One of the primary drives of what Paul will call the flesh is self-preservation, self-aggrandizement. Okay. So, when the kings heard that, you see, when they heard the king, they went out. And behold, the star which they had seen in the east went ahead of them. If they saw it in the east, that means they were in the east when they saw it, you see, going ahead of them. Until coming, it stood over the place where the child was. You don't know how that happened. How if the star's way up there, you could tell which place. Somehow, the Lord made it clear through that star, this is the place. Finally, their search is over. If you're a convert to the faith, you can appreciate this better than people born in the faith. You've come from the east, searching, 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 never giving up. But I tell you, my friends, even if we're 100 years old and we were baptized Christians, never give up the search. Never. Keep searching for God, obeying God, giving your life to God, praying to God every day, so that you'll know Him. Why? Because that makes you different. And even if you never say a word, of course you will, if you know God, you're not going to be quiet about it. You might be discreet, you might be polite, might not be a street preacher, but you're not going to be, you can't be quiet about it. Suppose it's your own grandchildren. You're going to let them go like that? Well, you know, and of course in our culture they can snap back at you and be disobedient and rebellious. Never mind. Keep at it. Get wisdom from God. You see? Because you've got to do this, okay? So, they saw the star. And the text, you see, it's a Karan Megalin Svodra. It's a, how do they describe this in the text? A very great joy. Well, they translated they were overjoyed at seeing the star, which is pretty good. Overjoyed, not just joy, overjoy, not just drive, overdrive, you know? Just filled with joy. That's more than whoopee, we found what we were looking for. Already there's something going on in them. I think, or Matthew would not have described it that way. And finding and entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and falling down, they worshipped him. Again, prosekini-san, but this time probably in the full sense of the term, and opening up their treasures, they offered them to him as a gift. They carried these very rare, costly things all the way from where they were to here. Gold and frankincense and myrrh. The liturgy will sing this. You see, gold because he's a king, frankincense because he's a priest, and myrrh for his burial. But you can see that it's an allusion to the text in Isaiah, which we read at the very beginning, when they come on with dromedaries, offering gold and frankincense and so forth. Okay. And then, you see, being warned in a dream not to go back toward Herod, they went home by another route to their own way. We can't enter into their spirit, but we can enter into our own. What is it like to really find Jesus? What is it like, all of a sudden, to know Him? You know, that's what Pope Benedict tells us. The whole church should be baptized in the Holy Spirit. Meaning, as he says himself then, be aware of what's given to us in baptism and confirmation. What's given? A living, experiential union with Jesus Christ, the Son of God. That's the end of all our searching until we see Him. And that's the meaning of the Epiphany. Amen.